There's something no one told you. Ignoring a woman could be the most seductive move you've ever made, or the most tragic mistake of your life. It all depends on how you do it, and that's where most men fail. We grew up believing that being always present, responding quickly, and pleasing in everything is a sign of love. But in practice, this only puts you in the zone of forgotten good guys. The kind they really like, but never really choose. The problem is, if you act like everyone else, you will be treated like everyone else. And ignoring the right way is an art that separates insecure men from men of value. We're not talking about children's games. We're talking about strong presence, strategic scarcity, knowing your value and making her feel it without you saying a word. Modern masculinity demands poise, not desperation. If you've ever felt frustrated by giving too much and receiving too little, or tired of being predictable and ignored even though you gave all of yourself, this video is for you. Here, you will understand the 6 pillars of how to use silence with intelligence, distancing with power, and detachment with charm. These are strategies that are part of personal development and that completely transform the way you relate. You'll discover why some women obsess over guys who barely respond, and what these men have that you haven't yet developed, but will from today. And the best, without having to pretend anything, you just need to activate your most authentic, most confident, most alpha side, ready to change the game. There is a curious detail about seduction that few men truly understand: detachment. When a woman already shows some level of interest, it is precisely the moment when a man of value can and should demonstrate self-confidence through strategic silence. Ignoring does not mean despising. It's about showing that your life doesn't revolve around her. This conveys strength, masculinity, and an aura of mystery that naturally generates attraction. Imagine a man who, upon receiving a message, does not respond immediately. He is busy, not pretending, but actually taking care of his own personal development. You're reading The Power of Action, going to the gym, or solving important things. This behavior communicates loud and clear: I am an alpha, not an attention seeker. This is what differentiates the mature seducer from the emotionally needy one. Women don't want someone available at all times. This sounds insecure, predictable, without purpose. What shines in their eyes is the man who maintains his routine, his mission, his goals, without losing his balance. A guy who has options but still chooses to be with her, and not because of a lack of options. This type of behavior is magnetic, because it is loaded with authenticity and self-love. The key is how you position yourself. A man who knows his own worth is not eager for a like on Instagram or a reply on WhatsApp. He understands that your time is precious, that your energy must be invested wisely, and this means he doesn't run after him. He walks firmly, attracting those who should walk alongside. Detachment, in this case, is not coldness, it's emotional maturity. And when she realizes that you're not available all the time, but that there's still love and interest, something starts to change. The game turns. Interest grows. Because you show that you have something that many people lack, the power of choice. And that's where the next step comes in. A subtle mistake that many make and that nullifies all of this in seconds. There is a fine line between affection and submission, and many men cross that line thinking they are conquering. What appears to be a demonstration of love often turns out to be a disguised neediness. When a man is always available, responds in seconds, accepts everything without question, and tries to please at any cost, he becomes predictable, boring, and worst of all, he stops being seen as a challenge. And challenge is something that seduction requires. The problem with sticky behavior is that it gives the game away too quickly. When a woman feels that she has total control of the relationship, that the man will do anything for her, attraction evaporates. And this has nothing to do with disrespect. It has to do with perceived value. Those who give themselves up completely before even achieving something concrete give the image that there is nothing more interesting in life. And this is lethal for personal development and any chance of real love. Practical example, a man who abandons everything to be with her. He quit football with his friends, stopped reading the books that made him grow up, no longer trained, all to be the ideal boyfriend. But this version doesn't enchant, it suffocates. A man of value maintains his pillars of life and does not sacrifice them for fear of losing someone. A true relationship is built with two complete individuals, not with one that revolves around the other. It is essential that man understands the difference between presence and dependence. Being present means listening, caring, having quality time. Being dependent means living according to it. It is transforming the relationship into an altar of personal sacrifice. Strong and attractive masculinity is expressed when he shows that he loves but does not cancel himself out. He is whole. And for that reason, it is desired, not like a doll molded to her whims, but like a real partner. And the more he puts aside this submissive behavior, the more he realizes that the secret is scarcity. In the ability to not give yourself completely in exchange for emotional crumbs. After all, the next step is precisely this, learning to become rare and therefore unforgettable. There is a silent principle that governs human desire. What is rare becomes valuable, and this applies to gold as well as to the man of value. In seduction, scarcity is not about feigning disinterest, but about having a life so rich in experiences, goals, and relationships that time with a woman becomes a privilege, not an obligation. This posture conveys something irresistible. You are wanted because you are hard to find. The man who acts with scarcity does not disappear to generate longing. He is simply not available all the time because he is busy living. You are building something, developing your skills, playing sports, studying, expanding your social circle. When it appears, it is whole, present, and interesting. And when it disappears, it's not because of a game, but because of purpose. This shows self-love, something that naturally fuels a woman's desire. Want a practical example? A guy who plays the guitar and goes hiking on the weekends, participates in reading groups during the week, and even starts his own business. This man transmits magnetic energy because his time is well spent. And when he reserves space for someone, that person feels special, valued. Scarcity, in this context, is not absence, it is relevance. Attractive masculinity is asserted when a man shows that his priority is his own growth. The courtship, the romance, the relationship, all of this is a consequence of the abundant life he already leads. He's not waiting for someone to start living, he already lives, and shares this journey with those who are truly worth it. This is pure seduction, making her want to be where you are, because being by your side means being closer to something bigger. And when she starts to realize that you're not the one who says good morning every day, that you don't run after her like everyone else, she'll start to take a closer look. You will want to understand why you are different. And then, the secret is where she should really pay attention, not what you say, but what you do. Many men listen too much and observe too little, and this is a fatal error in the art of seduction. Personal development requires keen perception, especially when dealing with women. They might say they're not interested, but keep texting, or claim that they want something serious, but act with total detachment. A man of value does not stick to speeches. It analyzes behaviors, because it is actions that reveal what is hidden in words. If a woman says she doesn't want anything, but keeps seeking your attention, you need to see what's behind this movement. If she talks about commitment but still keeps all her exes on her friends list, that's a clear sign of inconsistency. Seduction requires emotional reading and attention to detail. It's not enough to listen, you have to interpret. Body language, the frequency of interactions, the type of conversation, all of this speaks volumes. An alpha man doesn't let himself be carried away by empty promises. He observes calmly and decides firmly. It's like an investor who analyzes a company before investing his money. He looks at the numbers, the movements, the results, not the CEO's nice speech. And in the field of love, the same applies. Don't invest where there is no consistency. Value where there is reciprocity of attitude. A simple example. She says she wants to see you, but only shows up when you insist, or make an appointment, but always cancel it at the last minute. This says more about the relationship than any late-night passionate text. The man who has mastered seduction understands this. He positions himself, reacts intelligently, and keeps the focus on those who really show interest. And don't just say they have. And when you start paying attention to the real signs, you'll realize something curious. The truth has always been there, silently screaming. And that's when you start to look less at your cell phone and more at life. Because the next step is as simple as it is powerful, and it completely changes how others perceive you. Nothing elevates a man's perceived value more than a life full of movement. A man with an empty schedule conveys boredom, apathy, and emotional dependence. Someone who is always active, whether at the gym, in a circle of friends, traveling, learning something new, exudes energy, purpose, and security. This is directly reflected in seduction. Women perceive, feel, and attract each other, not because of what he says, but because of what he lives. An active social life is not about quantity of friends, but quality of experiences. Practicing physical activities, for example, in addition to shaping the body, strengthens the mind and refines discipline. A man who runs in the morning, does weight training, or even plays a football match on the weekend shows that he takes care of himself, and that screams masculinity. There is nothing more seductive than someone who takes care of themselves because they respect themselves. And it's not just about sports, learning a new hobby like playing the guitar, dancing, cooking, speaking another language. All of this awakens your creativity, broadens your worldview, and makes you naturally more interesting. The man of value is the one who carries stories, who lives, that has content. This creates deeper and more real connections, because those who have something to share are unlikely to be forgotten. Another essential point, talking to new people. With each interaction, you train your communication, your listening, your flexibility, and seduction is, above all, a verbal dance. The more you expose yourself to different conversations, the sharper your emotional radar becomes. This transforms you into a man who knows how to read the environment, adapt, drive, rare qualities, and for that very reason, valuable. And when all of this starts to be part of your routine, something changes inside you. You are no longer seeking validation, you are living. And the longer you live, the more the world starts to notice you. And then, the way you deal with women's interest starts to be just a reflection of your own growth. Now that you understand the power of each of these attitudes, tell me, how many times have you nullified yourself trying to please? How many times have you stopped being yourself just to be accepted? It's time to turn the key. To stop running after those who don't run for you. Ignoring the right way isn't coldness, it's emotional intelligence, it's positioning, it's self-respect. And when you start acting like this, the world starts to see you differently. So the question is, Will you continue to be the predictable man who lives at your disposal? Or will you start to be the rare man who imposes his presence even in silence? Will you continue trying to fit in, or will you become the one who chooses and doesn't just wait to be chosen? It all starts with small changes, and you've already taken the first step just by getting here. Now apply, go to life, forehead, observe, and be surprised by the results. And most importantly, share this with other men who still don't understand the game. Because true personal development is not just about growing yourself, but about lifting up others around you as well. If this content made sense to you, leave a like, comment below what impacted you most and which of these attitudes you will apply today. And of course, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here we talk about masculinity with purpose, seduction with conscience, and growth with truth. The next video could be just what you need to take the leap.